The hearing to review the executive director's decision to dismiss the case against Michael Maxwell was held August 10th of 2011. I prepared a 3-minute speech. Dr. Maxwell performed unnecessary heart surgery on me January 21st, 2010. Dr. Maxwell dictated that I had crushing substernal chest pain, blood pressure of 180, requiring massive doses of esmolol blood pressure control. At no time did I complain of chest pain, nor do I have a history or family history of cardiac problems. 3 hours prior to the surgery, at 3:15 a.m., Dr. Wolf stated that my blood pressure has been low, 97/77, and the pain in my back is a 4 out of a 10. At 4:10 a.m., he states that I am comfortable after additional morphine, blood pressure still low. At 4:26 a.m., Dr. Nelson dictated that my blood pressure is again 110/60. 6 minutes later, esmolol was started. I received 4 doses between 4:32 and 5:24 a.m. I was alone in the room with no monitors. At 4:33, Dr. Paquette filed an addendum amending his opinion to likely pulsation artifact and recommended further tests. I was taken into surgery. When I woke up, Dr. Maxwell told me he made a mistake. There's nothing wrong with my heart. I suffered complications from the surgery. I developed kidney injury due to extremely low blood pressure and sepsis from the untreated abscess that was ignored. For several months, I experienced excruciating pain in my chest where the surgery was performed. I had over 40 visits to various doctors. September 2nd, I had surgery to remove 3 sternal wires that were protruding up through my skin. It took my everyday pain from a 10 to a 5. I have experienced pain in my chest every day since the surgery. This was not a mistake. Not only did Dr. Maxwell dictate erroneous information in his operating report, he also dictated the same erroneous information in his discharge report. He wrote that I was very hypertensive when I came in, with a blood pressure in the 200s, and it had came down to 150s with an esmolol drip. Was he that oblivious to my care? 13 days after the surgery, did he not realize that my blood pressure never went over 120? He gave me 4 doses of esmolol minutes before performing heart surgery. I could have easily lost my life at the hands of Dr. Maxwell. Dr. Maxwell dictated if he had done an MRI and it came back negative, he probably would not believe it. I was never given the option of more tests. Dr. Maxwell never asked me my symptoms. I was alone and unable to articulate my care due to several doses of morphine, and I was in no distress. This was not a mistake. This was an egregious combination of arrogance, incompetence, and greed. Dr. Maxwell has violated the standard of care and doesn't deserve a medical license. You were quick to dismiss my case without reviewing the facts. I'm asking you today to please protect the public from Dr. Maxwell. The Arizona Medical Board minutes for the August 10th meeting are as follows. Complaint SK spoke during the call to the public. Dr. Jenkins expressed concerns regarding Dr. Maxwell's use of esmolol in this case, and she questioned whether hypertension was documented in the patient's emergency room record. Dr. Bethesda, MD, medical consultant, summarized that Dr. Maxwell states in his response letter that he examined the patient's blood pressure but did not document it. Dr. Thrift states he found that Dr. Maxwell adequately documented his reasoning for the esmolol for the patient's hypertension. Dr. Bethesda states that he questioned whether Dr. Maxwell reviewed the addendum report. Dr. Bethesda states that Dr. Maxwell did perform an epi-aortic cardiogram to determine whether the finding was true dissection. Dr. Jenkins questioned why the esmolol was administered when there was no evidence of hypertension documented in the chart. Dr. Bethesda explained that the dissection required the physician to decrease the left ventricular function with a beta blocker medication such as esmolol. Dr. Kira states he observed that Dr. Maxwell was faced with a difficult and emergent situation in which he did what he thought was best for the patient. Dr. Kira states that had the patient developed hypotension, the medication could have been adjusted. Dr. Kira moved to uphold the dismissal. Dr. Krishna questioned whether the addendum report showed that there was no dissection present. Dr. Bethesda states that the addendum did show that there was no dissection and was written prior to surgery. However, he states that the report was signed off 21 days after the operation. The board voted to uphold the dismissal of Dr. Michael C. Maxwell, MD. If after completing its investigation, the board finds that the information provided pursuant to subsection A of this section is not sufficient seriousness to merit disciplinary action against the license of the doctor, the board or a board committee may take any of the following actions. Dismiss if, in the opinion of the board, the information is without merit.